Hello everybody, I hope you're all doing well. We're looking in this video at question 23 on our grade 8 Gauss contest. Different patterns can be created by shading exactly 3 of the 9 small triangles shown, no 2 of which can share a side, so we can't shade this one and this one, for example. Okay? Patterns that can be matched by rotations or reflections are considered the same. For example, the following patterns are considered the same. So these two are the same because if you just sort of reflect across this imaginary line, you'll get the same thing. And looks like if you take this one and the first one and rotate it clockwise, you'll get this one here. So rotations and reflections are not different. But we do want to know how many different patterns can we make. Okay. I can't see any sort of immediate counting strategy or shortcut to apply for something like this. If I look at the answers, I'm seeing 8, 9, 10. We know one of these has to be right. So this doesn't seem like there's that many cases. We might just try and work them out. But we want to be careful. We want to be organized. We don't want to accidentally count something twice and think the answer is 11 when really it's 10. And we also want to be very thoughtful. Make sure we've covered everything. We don't want to think the answer is 8 when really there are more cases we just didn't think of and the answer is 12. So let's try and be organized when we do this. That's a little big. All right, there's an example of one. Okay. Now, what could we try and do? Well, we could fill in one of the corners. That would certainly work. As a matter of fact, we could count the number of corners that we fill in. So let's figure out how many patterns have 3 corners filled in. Well, only the one. Okay. Now, to be perfectly organized, let's count the number of patterns that have exactly 2 of the corners filled in. Okay? These pictures don't have to be super exact, they're for our own purposes. I'll fill this one in and I'll fill this one in. You notice it's perfectly fine. They're not sharing sides at all. Okay. And if I've got only two of the corners shaded, then this one's not allowed, this one's not allowed, this one's not allowed, but I do have some other options. Okay. Which of these count? Well, I could color the same side, right? And we get a nice little shape like that. Or I could color one of the sort of sides that isn't between the two shaded in. Okay? But that's going to be the same thing because if I were to shade this one and this one and this here, and then sort of reflect it, these two corner ones swap places and this one goes over to the other spot. Okay? So there's one blue and then one for the greens, and then we could also have this one here shaded. Okay? So we get some nice patterns that way. And you might say, well, hold on, what about having this corner and this corner shaded, and then maybe in the middle shade? Well, no, that's a rotation of the 2 corners and the blue. Okay? So by color coding it, I'm keeping track of everything that I can. Okay? So there's 3 different cases with 2 corners, exactly 2 corners shaded in. Okay? Now, what happens if I have only 1 corner shaded in? Then eventually we'll work down to no corners shaded in and see if we can get any patterns there. Okay, so we'll put our single corner up here, I guess. What can't we have? Well, we can't put something here or in either of the corners because then that would be one of the previous cases. Right? Now, if I fill in one over here, oh, see, this is going to be harder because now I've got 2 things. I've got two to fill in. if I fill in something like this and this, that'd be the same as if I did these two over here. Okay. I guess it's really, well, actually, I couldn't do that. Let's look at the cases where I've got this filled in and I've got an adjacent side triangle filled in. Okay, well, then I can't have this. Okay. I could have the other side filled in. Okay. Or I could have this side filled in. That would be a different case. Okay. Because this, so these shaded, that is noticeably different than having this shaded. And the third square, the third triangle is in a different spot. So those are separate, as is putting one here. Okay? So if I have one corner triangle and one side triangle, one adjacent side triangle, I have 3 different possibilities. So we have to break this case down into further cases, just so that we're absolutely sure that we've got everything. We don't want to rush. We don't want to assume and try and make grand counting gestures. Okay? So now I can't have here, 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 and I can't have here or this one over here, because that would just be a reflection of the previous cases. Okay? So what else can we have? Well, I've got 2 squares left to, or not squares, 2 triangles left to place, but they can't be adjacent. So at least one of them is going to go in one of these 2 spots. So maybe this one here, and then the other one's got to go here, because they can't be adjacent. So then there's one case like that. Okay? So when it comes to having only one triangle, looks like we get only 4 possibilities. So now we're up to 8 in total, but we haven't looked at having no triangles in the corners. And we don't want to forget that case. Okay, so we can't put them in the corners. Now, where could I put one? Well, I could put one here, but then that automatically means these 2 can't be, because you can't have adjacent ones, and so we're forced to fill these in here, because again, they can't be adjacent. Or maybe I don't put one in this sort of middle-ish area. Maybe I put one on the side. Well, by the same reason, you're going to have to fill in these 2 as well. Get a high degree of symmetry here. And that gives us 2 more cases. So with the 8 from the previous page plus these 2, we've got 10. And we haven't missed anything because, and this is the important thing when you're doing case-based work, we were organized. 3 corners filled in, 2 corners filled in, 1 corner filled in, no corners filled in, and we broke everything down into cases. We're very careful so that we don't miss anything. So this should be an answer of C. I think 10 was in the middle. Yeah. We get an answer of C. There we go. Okay. And you're more than welcome to sort of play around with it, see if you can find additional cases or double check, are these all different cases here? And you'll find that, yeah, we've accounted for all the rotations and reflections and everything like that. So we're okay. Now we're ready to move on to question number 24. We'll handle that in the following video.